ipapag-farm mo si Pylai, papatayin at papatayin lang naman, mas lalong magiging die.
We know him naman. Meron na siyang MMR records, MMR milestones. He has teams built around him. And for
I can see kung
I've known I've seen him there. His teammates.
same na yun. And do it. 1437. Saan makapaganap ko ng
Speak my thoughts. But right now, for better or for worse, they're giving me the
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
Ngayon, may incentive tayo. And I agree, again, I think both of us will agree that having a point system is overall good. Because now there's an actual... Alright, welcome back sa The Duel. Medyo matagal tayo nawala. Pero Pau at Ren pa rin nagbabalik. Blue and red, talagang magkakasagupaan pa tayo ngayon.
It
What's
works.
up? It works.
It's a blue corner, red corner thing now. I
Okay,
thought you want to
okay.
avoid that.
Yun nga, well, we are going to avoid it today. For today's duel, medyo extended pa ang pacifism, ang armistice naming dalawa. Hindi mo namin magtatalo dahil meron tayong mga malalaking bagay na pag-uusapan. It's not going to be necessarily isang tunggalian.
Yeah, and we're still waiting for someone as well.
Naghihintay pa rin
We
tayo.
should be there very soon, actually.
Malapit na actually.
Yeah.
So, reminder lang, you're watching the Duel WXC Plus's debate show about Dota 2 and of course the world of esports. Today may pag-uusapan tayong napakalaki, especially kung isa kayong fan na nasa Pilipinas. But we would also like to remind you guys that the Duel is also looking for a host. So, meron kaming nilagay na mga links sa Wombo Combo na Facebook page. If you think you have what it takes to become the Duel's host, kailangan namin na referee.
Yeah, we need
Kailangan natin na referee.
you guys.
We need you guys talaga. So, we are still looking for that person and then we will go ahead with Season 2 ng The Duel. Full force the moment mahanap natin yon. Ren, kamusta ka?
Doing good. I'm not sick, unlike
I am though.
someone.
I am though.
It's a very good weekend though.
It has been.
Maliban sa traffic. I think it's a consensus that the traffic last weekend was very disastrous. Long weekend, payday, rain,
Ulan,
all these things adding up.
I heard nung nagsimula nga yung ulan, especially nung last weeks, we had a show before and then talagang binaha ka nga ata.
Oh yeah, that was before I left for Baguio.
Before you left for
I
Baguio.
was stranded sa, Arpapa. It's a very nice place. Medyo mabilis magbaha.
Yun lang.
Hanggang bewang lang.
So I hope ngayon naman medyo tumilang ulan. Pero
It's
hindi
very sunny.
pero hindi nawala yung ating pagbagsak ng mga balita natin.
There's a lot of good topics today.
A lot of very good topics. The qualifiers, especially for SEA, kakatapos lang. We now have the teams that will comprise the closed qualifiers for SEA.
Yeah.
The rest of the regions are still finishing up. Kung gusto nyo mapanood yun, Wombo Combo is going on with their coverage right now sa Kuya Nick WXC and sa Wombo Combo. So that's twitch.tv/Kuya Nick WXC and twitch.tv/WomboXCombo. However, today ang pag-uusapan natin is another news that came out last week. Very exciting news. The Nationals has been announced by the MVP group. Manny Panghilinan, together with Signal, together with TV5, lahat ng mga lahat ng component na industries that will be helping out with this project, have announced the Nationals, the first franchise league for esports launching this year in the Philippines. Now, what does that mean? Well, a franchise league means that it's going to be very, very similar to fan favorites such as the PBA and the NBA, where companies can buy in to the league. They become a part of the league in perpetuity, or at least depending on the charter. And and at first, the league will cater to 3 main games: one for PC, one for mobile, and one for console. Now, ang nabanggit lang nila so far for the Nationals will be NBA 2K for console.
Yes.
Mobile Legends for mobile.
Yep.
And of course, Dota 2 para naman sa PC.
And
Now,
there's gonna be one more wild card game.
there's going to be a
quote-unquote,
wild card
that-
game.
Yeah.
Hindi pa natin alam kung ano yon, pero that's what we're going to talk about today. Is the Philippines ready for a franchised league? Ren, ano sa tingin mo?
I think if we're being ready by terms of viewership, I don't think we're there yet.
You don't think we're there in terms of viewership?
Yeah.
I would think na yun yung unang
The thing with
pinanood nila.
the thing with the viewership of of the Filipino people, if you look at gamers, we are a generation
Ah.
I'm assuming I'm part of the generation. We are
Pwede ka mangarap.
the
Pero, sige lang.
generation of us millennials
Mm.
is a generation who watches less TV.
Totoo.
This is a, I think this is a move to try drive a lot of more traffic sa TV.
Mm-mm.
Especially you see MVP here, Signal here, doing this. But similar sa problem ng streaming industry natin, na the gamers are the ones using ad blocks.
Right.
Similarly here, the gamers are the one
Who
who
plug pulled away from
who actually
traditional
who are
media.
watching less and less TV. I can speak for myself now. I barely watch TV anymore.
Mm.
Can you
I
say
don't
the
own a
same?
TV.
You don't own a
I
TV.
don't own a TV.
I think it's the same. People our age are going into net-based programs, if not, skipping TV completely.
Mm.
So I think that's a struggle. But I think for esports, this is very, very healthy.
Mm.
If you're ready, I think it might be challenging sa umpisa for them. No, maybe not. Not challenging, but it's gonna be a loss financially.
Mm.
But for the reputation and long term, it's definitely something very positive for them.
I think doon ako magdi-differ doon. I mean,
Mhm.
this is not going to be a full-fledged duel because I
Okay.
think we can both agree that the Nationals, or at least a fully franchised league coming into play, I mean, as early as, or actually as late as now, isipin mo, it could have happened a long time ago, is very good for the industry, for the esports industry sa Pilipinas. I think we can both agree
Yeah,
there.
it is very good.
Pero where I will disagree, I think, is kung will it be a challenge to get viewers for TV. Kasi while I understand kung saan ka nanggagaling na totoo, millennials are increasingly pulling the plug away from traditional media. There's less and less people who own a TV. For example, I live by myself and I don't own a TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own one kasi I would rather get an internet subscription. Yun na lang yung babayaran ko rather than magbayad pa ako ng separate na cable subscription kahit na sabihin mo there are free options like TV Plus, or mga ganun tipo.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than do that, I would rather buy an internet subscription. Totoo yan. But this is the Philippines. Nabanggit mo kanina, for Twitch, the gamers that would watch Twitch are also the kind of people who also have ad block. Well, in the Philippines, the people who would want to watch things on Twitch are not necessarily the people who can afford a stable internet connection that can deliver that kind of content to them
Mm-hmm.
on the regular. That's why every time na mayroong tournament na malaki, the Masters, ESL1 Manila, Manila Major, ever since TV5 came into play and started to, support esports by putting it on TV, you've gotten consistent clamor that more people want to watch it on TV. And that's an accessibility issue for the Philippines. Not everyone can afford, for PLDT, magkano ba yung stable na internet na makaka-enjoy ka ng ganun? Maybe 1,600?
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 Mbps per month. And that's not necessarily affordable for a student, right? So to be able to get that on TV is a big deal. And I think that's what, these companies are looking at na, access to content in the Philippines right now is still largely available to people who can access the TV. That's why ABS-CBN also entered when they broadcasted Galaxy Battles over SNA. Diba? So I think in that respect, it's a good move naman. I think they're not going to run into as big of a problem, at least for the short term.
I think the concern is I think you're overestimating
Mm.
the people who wants to watch this on a consistent basis. Because that's gonna be the problem. I think the big question mark is we don't know how often they're gonna. I think their idea was they want to play out the whole season,
Yes.
but this is not a dedicated channel, is it?
We don't know. We don't
We
have
don't
the
know
full,
yet.
Yeah, we don't have the
Yeah.
full
But
details.
but will for a regular household, how many TVs does families have if they
Right.
don't have an internet connection?
Mm-mm.
And assuming this is a usual Southeast Asian event, this is gonna be on prime time.
Mm-mm.
So will households that have one TV, will these young people be in charge of choosing what channel to play?
No, I get that. Ang sinasabi ko lang, I think that what I'm saying is it factored in
Oh yeah,
to the decision to have it.
there's definitely people who's gonna watch.
Right.
But the problem, not the problem, the concern I have is it gonna be enough to justify, the expenses and everything that's gonna have here and the opportunity cost for these networks to have
It there. Well, we've seen the other moves naman, diba? And while we are going about, publicly available knowledge right now, we are seeing the other moves that nilatag naman by the MVP group. So, Signal has inked a deal with EGG to to have that on
the
their
channel.
platform, right? To have the channel on their platform.
Yes.
Before it was only available for people on TV Plus, which is ABS-CBN na owned.
Mhm.
So you're seeing that slowly they're testing the market. Is there going to be people watching gaming content on the regular?
Yeah, and you said the keyword though for me.
Right.
You know, kinakita ko concern. They're just testing the market right now.
Totoo.
That's why I was saying that really
You're not sold on
I'm
the
not sold on the idea right now as
Uh,
far as for
it could happen
for
or it
them is
could not.
concerned. I think it's good. I will not contend that it's good for esports,
Mm.
but you either if you want to be good, you have to be the first, right? Or you have to be the best.
Right.
Usually, if you're the first, minsan it's a great thing. But in this case, I think the first is this is a learning experience for everyone.
Totoo. And ako naman, I'm also not, the reason why I think it's not as big of a concern is, again, I think that accessibility plays into this. I think they factor that in. And while consistency is a very valid na point na, okay, will there be enough people watching this on a consistent basis? Lalo na kung gabi-gabi na Dota na ganito, well, ano yung magiging complexion nung ratings mo? How many people are going to watch it when matatiming yung liga with a major or a minor?
Not just that, and part of
Right?
part of the demand before is because minsan lang siya. You know the case na it happens every now and then. It's a big tournament.
Right.
Then we want to watch it.
Right.
But if it's a daily league tournament, it's a non-bearing game.
Sa bagay.
That's the other concerns that I have.
Yeah, pero for me, what I think is going to happen, and again, this is speculation on our part, TV5 and the MVP group, Signal, for example, they have access to other platforms. So when
They
you
do.
take a look at
That they do. They have
right,
a lot of platforms.
they have a lot
actually.
of platforms, right? So what we could probably be seeing is on TV, lalabas siguro for this franchise na liga, games of against popular teams. Games na talagang yung bearing nung laro, very very important for the standings of the league. Meanwhile, on a consistent basis, you can have more of the league games played out on a separate channel, maybe a digital channel, maybe a streaming channel. They've done the same with GG Network. When GG Network was first announced, we thought it was going to be a channel on TV. It turns out it's going to be a channel on Twitch. And then it became more of a Facebook Facebook live sort of situation.
Yeah.
And that's not to devalue it. They were trying to see, well, where are people consuming this content? So I think with the nationals, I think there's a degree of confidence there that they have a plan na, okay, ilalabas natin sa TV when someone of Bimbo's caliber or Jules' caliber, kalaban niya, itong, other good players in the Philippines. Because it is a Philippine franchise league.
Yeah.
Right? Sa pagkakaalam natin.
But here goes the question again that, there's a lot of uncertainties na ang hirap mag-assume ngayon because, with what you're saying, there's going to be other factors like scheduling, availability of slots.
Right.
Are they going to show it live or it's going to be a rerun? Because, in
Ah,
gaming, a
totoo.
rerun is a very...
It's death. It's
yeah,
death,
it's basically
right?
not, it's a not...
Alam natin yun, broadcaster tayo.
Definitely. And
Oo.
this is a problem even with traditional sports, even with NBA. They've been having decreased viewers year after year. Even people who watched the games before simply don't have time to watch the games anymore now. They just watch the highlights.
Right.
So, again, this is very good. This is very, very good for the community, for the exposure, for the awareness even of the older people. What's gaming? Is it good? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I think for the older people, marami pa rin hindi aware kung what even gaming is. One good thing though, I think the bright spot here is I'm more worried about the financial return of this because I'm thinking
if it fails,
I'm thinking
might not have it.
is it good for the investors? Because if it's bad for the investors, it might shy away other investors.
So here's the thing. So
The good thing for me there is the investors we have right now, or the teams we have that we see right now.
right.
I think they're there for the long term. They're not. I don't see those teams as that franchises as short
So
term
let's first lay it out para sa viewers natin. Ano
Mhm.
ba yung what do we know when it comes to the investments in this franchise league for the nationals? So what we know is that the teams that are buying, the companies that are going to be involved at first are STI, which is an educational institution, Bren Pro, which handles mobile games, Playbook, which handles console games, Happy Feet, TNC. So yun yung limang alam, and of course MVP Group, Signal,
MVP.
and TV5 to broadcast, right? So we know that when it comes to the gaming stakeholders, may track record yung sumali. Bren Pro has been in the scene for, siguro siya yung youngest out of everyone. Playbook has been a pillar of the console gaming, fighting game community in the Philippines for a long time. So they are the ones that, regularly, well now, starting to regularly host international caliber events for fighting games. Right? Rage Art, mga ganun tipong events. TNC, household name. Happy Feet, which is a subsidiary of Mineski, is also going to be involved. So, there is considerable resources or just considerable backing from industry stakeholders. And then, of course, you have MVP money. Let's just be clear about that. Hindi pa sinasabi kung how much ang buy-in sa liga. Hindi pa natin alam. So, for people who are not clear on what a franchise league means, it means that there's going to be a buy-in to be able to even participate sa liga. So, as an example, Overwatch League, for people who are familiar with Overwatch, Overwatch League has a buy-in of $20 million.
Yeah. Just before them in the LCS, had a buy-in of more or
1
less,
million. No?
I think 10 million-ish.
Yeah, it started from about 1 million and then
it went up.
It went up to about 10 million. So, there are other franchise leagues in esports. So, ibig sabihin ng franchise na liga, the number of teams are set and you buy a slot to be able to participate. So, it's the same with the PPA. There's a set number of teams and then you buy into it, Token Tex, mga San Miguel, mga Ginebra, ganyan.
Mga expansion teams sila.
Teams sila, diba? So, hindi pa natin alam kung magkano yon. But, bakit nagbabuy-in ka into a franchise league? Why isn't it an open system? So, the difference between an open system and a franchise league is, with a franchise league, supposedly, there's going to be revenue sharing among all of the members of the league. So, it is in their financial, interest.
Best interest nila.
Na i-market nila yung mga laro nila, yung mga teams nila popular, yung mga laban nila, always on social media. And of course, it's going to be a more stable system for them because hindi na nila kailangan dumaan na open qualifier. Pag hindi ka nanalo ng open qualifier, wala kang mapapala.
Or if you perform poorly, wala ka na.
Wala ka na magagawa, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yun yung pinakaiba ng franchise league ngayon. We've never had that in the Philippines. We tried before. MPGL was semi, but it was not a franchise league.
Well, it's a relegation.
It's a relegation promotion league. This is the first time we've had it. So, what do you think about the franchise league as a system? Are we ready for that? Because this is going to be the first time. Ako sisimulan ko na. My concern here is that you're going to have to sell it to not just potential investors. Na, okay, profitable mag-invest dito at gumawa ng team. But you're also going to have to sell it to other stakeholders ng esports. Kasi from where I'm standing right now, a franchise league can be very good for stakeholders. Kasi stable siya. Hindi siya katulad ng open system na kapag hindi ka nanalo ng qualifier, wala kayong gagawin. Kapag kulelat kayo sa franchise league, meron pa rin kayong minimum guarantee. Yun nga lang, kulelat kayo.
Yeah.
Diba? So, it's going to be harder to retain that, pero you're going to still have another season to try and make it back. So, meron siyang degree of stability. Whereas, in an open system like what we have for Dota, pag hindi ka nanalo ng qualifier, wala kang kakainin. There are some tournaments na pag hindi ka nag-first, it doesn't even count, right? You don't even get enough money back in order to, sometimes, yung fair nyo pa nga lang.
Actually, that's something that has improved over the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's improving, pero that's also one of, yung pa rin yung pitfalls ng isang open system.
Yeah.
In a franchise league, hindi yung mangyayari yon. However, the problem with the franchise league is that yung buy-in mo sa simula is usually very high. Again, we go back to Overwatch League.
Yeah, I think it's a very big problem for franchise league kasi the problem of stagnation and new players coming in is very challenging.
Totoo.
Kasi, again, mataas ang buy-in natin. Pangalawa, you've placed last, you're still there.
You're still there. Oh.
And with contracts, you just want to maximize some players. Sometimes you don't want to make moves. And sometimes you think it's gonna work out eventually.
So for me, yung concern ko dun is, are the other stakeholders ready for that? Sabihin natin ang magiging buy-in ng liga natin is 1 million pesos. Sabihin natin ganun. It's probably not going to be that because usually a buy-in into a franchise slot should cover operational expenses of the league. It should finance the league in some form.
Yeah, the marketing is
Marketing
very
pa lang,
expensive.
very expensive na, di ba? Operational costs, yung mga renta ng mga stadium kung saan sila maglalaro. That costs money. Right? Because again, in a franchise league, ang pwede nilang gawin dun is, Smart, for example, Smart owns Araneta. Kung walang event ang Araneta, they can put the games there for the finals or the conference finals or whatever. Right? And then charge tickets. That's how they can earn money from the league. So, siguro yung initial mo na buy-in is going to be, what? Sabihin natin 2 million pesos. Do you know any other org that will have 2 million pesos?
No, the challenge here is not the teams per se registering. You see what happened in US, franchises in OL and NALCS that
They partnered with other
there's
investors.
a partner with an investor because the team itself, they cannot make direct profit off this. It's not like the Damian merchandise nila, or kahit dumami, it's not even enough to cover a fraction of what they're
Pero what
pay.
I'm saying is, para sa akin kasi, I think in this situation, it's the teams that also have to be, it's the teams that will also have a lot of, a lot of trouble getting in. Because totoo, ang pwede naman nilang gawin is partner with an investor. But, the investor should also know these teams. And there's not a lot of successful franchises in Dota in the Philippines right now. Wala. Isipin mo, TNC and Mineski. Very good. Execration can maybe make the cut.
Yeah.
Who else? We can't have a 3-team league.
That's for one game lang.
That's for one game lang.
And that's the most famous game as well.
That's the most famous game. Who else is going to be able to have the clout and the money and the capital to attract investors and say, you can bank on us? And that's just assuming na maliit yung buy-in mo. Sabihin natin malaki yung buy-in. Sabihin natin 10 million pesos. Kung 10 million pesos, tas may lalapit sa'yo na team na, merong aming team na mga 6K MMR. Paano ka maniniwala sa kanila?
Well, again, the question mark here is the format. We don't know how many games they're gonna show.
That's true.
Because for other investors, they don't even need the the people just seeing their name there is big enough of a boost for them.
Right.
So,
sa bagay, kung isipin natin, Overwatch League per stage, they have 40 matches. Right? Are we going to have a 40-match league?
We don't even know how many teams we
don't even know how many teams we have.
That's a question mark. So,
are we ready though? Tingin mo?
Yeah, again, I'm gonna repeat the answer I gave earlier. I don't think we're ready yet for this, because the same manner, when you look at NA, this is not new, not just for us. This is new for everyone. Even them, they're just on the trial and error stage right now. I think there's a lot of improvements bound to happen in the next years. But I think 2018, 27, late 2017, early 2018 is one of the starting phase pa lang ng franchise leagues natin. It's gonna get better. I think it's very positive for esports, and I think with this, because it's undeniable naman that there's a lot of people. Yung possible market move is massive. No one is denying that. We just need to this part is essential. Again, I won't say we're ready, but I think it's essential. It's a good starting point.
It's essential in development. You do need to get into this eventually. Otherwise, you will never know if it will work or not.
Yeah.
I agree. Pero I guess ako sa final thoughts ko, again, I think that this is very good. It's been kind of a long time coming, but at the same time, I understand yung concerns mo na, are you ready in terms of viewership, in terms of consistency. For me, my main concerns are, can we afford it? Can the teams afford it so that we actually have a league worth watching? I think there are some very good points. I think that the fact that we have a good idea kung ano yung magiging schedule ng DPC is a very big plus to putting this now. Because then you can schedule the league around the minors and the majors so that hindi makakain. And franchises that buy into the nationals, at least where Dota 2 is concerned, can have that sort of flexibility na, TNC can be part of the nationals, pero the nationals will not conflict with kung gusto nila punta ng minors, kung gusto nila punta ng majors. It could easily be like that. So, I think it's a net positive. I just hope that the numbers match up so that we actually have good investors and good teams and good talent coming in for all of the games. Mobile Legends, NBA 2K, and Dota 2. Because where we are right now, natatakot ako na it might be too high of a barrier to start a league that we won't have the best talent in the Philippines competing in it. And that's going to be a shame for me. Ikaw, what do you think?
Yeah, I think not only that, if that's the case na meron tayong good investors, we also have happy investors, which I think is also happy in in trying to get future investors. That's a very essential part. I would say I personally am a fan of a relegation-based league because
Very European.
franchise models are
Yeah.
American, and even sa basketball you see relegation style sila. I think it's more healthy, and it avoids stagnation. But again, I think this is very good. I think many people are still unaware of what esports even is, but even the big companies now are recognizing, or at least they cannot ignore the progress that esports is making anymore. So I just wish this league, adapts, because that's gaming for you. You have to adapt.
Yeah, you have to adapt.
If you don't adapt here, I think there's a lot of things that they need to work on, a lot of details, and not just the number of teams. There's also a lot of other games that wondering why they're left out, or why
Well,
they're
we
not
know
part
that
of it,
one game is left out because
of the other.
yeah, League of Legends, Dota 2, they can't mix, di ba?
And that's the thing, though.
Especially Riot has an event in the Philippines. So.
I mean that's one of something that maybe we should try to work out, because
Totoo.
that's a big challenge. You don't want to start. We have to start somewhere, but you don't want to remain in that place.
Yun
You're
lang,
gonna
oh.
stick. You're gonna stick here.
All right. So I think, yeah, again, both Ren and I were both very excited for the Nationals. Hopefully, we can see more details about it coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, should be, because there's a road to nationals. That's
There's a
coming
road to
August.
Nationals.
It's coming August, I believe.
right
August,
right after TI.
August to October, I think, in timeline
Yeah.
nila.
The finals of which will be at the ESGS.
And the nationals per se will start on first quarter next year.
Diba? So, malapit na.
It's actually very
It's
soon.
very near.
It's very near.
So I hope that we get more details. Of course, we will talk about all of these things. But we'll go on a short commercial break. Pagbalik namin, we'll talk about the qualifiers naman this time.
Yeah,
in its
qualifiers.
entirety. Yep.
Very
TI
fun-
qualifiers
very fun time.
It's going to be medyo madugo. We've seen a lot of upsets so far, especially in SEA and in CIS. So pag-uusapan natin, have the open qualifiers been, have they measured up this year?
Okay.
In terms of everything, in terms of how they were organized, in terms of the results, lahat yan pag-uusapan namin on the Duel. Short commercial muna kami, magbabalik.
Definitely family and friends. Here I don't really have any friends, right? So it's just, it's hard just to be here, just to play, the game. I'm trying to see, if I can make friends or have other people that I can, you know, hang out with during our breaks, like things like that. But yeah, from home, definitely friends and my family, because normally we're always talking on WhatsApp, and they're always talking about the plans that they're making, what they want to do, and things like that. And it feels really sad to know that, you know, I can't just simply go out and just be with them whenever I want to, like I would be able to do at home. Of course, my mom's cooking, but I like the foods here a lot as well. My two favorite is tocino and tzatziki. When we go out, you can have a lot of things to do. I've visited places like Taguig and other really nice locations here. I plan to also go to some of the beautiful places here in the Philippines, like the resorts or Kawasan Falls. Maybe sometimes when I go out, like let's say we're going to the airport or we're going out, and then just seeing like the country and like one time I saw like 3 naked children just running around, you know, around like a box or something, and I saw like a father there as well, and then like I came to the realization that that was actually like someone's family, that they're actually living in this small little thing, and then it really was like, I don't know, it really touched my heart at the time, and I realized like in other parts of the world that that's just how life is, and there are some things that you should be really grateful for, and I think that's something I really realized coming here in the Philippines, to be very happy and blessed for everything that I have. I really like the fact that I can just play the game freely here, where without any distractions, just concentrate on my goals and what I want to do. So in a way, like, I do miss my family and stuff, but at the same time, I also have an opportunity to just focus all my energy into what I want to accomplish this year.
Welcome back to the Duel. Pao at Ren pa rin. And now we're going to be talking about the Open Qualifiers for TI8. Now, it's been, to put it very, very simply, it's been a ride. It's been a ride. Nung unang araw pa lang ng ating qualifiers, napakarami na nating nakitang mga upsets. Maraming mga drama na nangyari both in-game.
Drama indeed.
Both in-game and in the qualifiers as a whole. So ang tanong natin ngayon, have the qualifiers been acceptable? Are you satisfied with the Open Qualifier so far? Now, gusto nating himayin into different points.
Okay.
Now, the first, let's go with the results.
Yeah.
And then we will go with the more general topic na lang muna siguro. The Open Qualifiers as a whole, have they been acceptable? Because we've seen a lot of issues. Ngayon, you know, people have been calling for the heads of certain organizations para managot. Where do you want to start? Do we go with the results first or the Open Qualifiers muna as a whole?
I think we'll start with the results because it's more or less, you know.
Oh, more or less, ano. I mean, there are very, you know, we've seen essentially the end of most of the qualifiers. We're waiting on South America and North America na lang, you know, notable things that happened. SEA, natapos na rin. You know, we've seen a lot of underdog teams, siguro, compared to who else was in the Open Qualifier. Make it through. Execration is not in.
Yeah.
Taskas Titans is not in, which means that Bimbo and Rio and James, you know, 2 of those 3 have been in TI. wala. Hindi sila-
Detonator as well.
Detonator's
No, I
not
think
there.
marami ring fans.
Marami ring fans. Happy Feet's not
Happy
there.
Feet is not there as well.
And yung mga nakapasok, SGD. So, Fly Solo is going to
Mhm.
be fighting in the close qualifiers. We've seen Entity Gaming make it through the Black Stack.
Mhm.
Led by Black as their carry and their captain. Their
Mhm.
coach, si Scansor.
Yep.
Who else made it in? Alpha Red, storming through the bracket. There are other two teams I'm forgetting off the top of my
BAE.
head. There's okay, so that's the
Yeah.
Ohio Stack.
The Ohio Stack.
The Ohio Stack won yesterday.
Yep. And
And
TNC Tigers.
TNC Tigers.
Yeah.
So 1-4-3-7. So there are some teams na nakapasok that you would have expected to get there,
Mhm.
but the other strong teams couldn't make it. In other regions, Navi is finally over.
They're not back.
They're not back.
They're not gonna be back this year.
They're not gonna be back this year. They're not gonna be back soon, as they have fallen in the open qualifiers. In NA, Punks were semi-satisfied as EG won the first qualifier spot, and then everyone else have sort of gone through. So ano sa tingin mo sa mga resulta natin?
You know what? I have the format is very suspect for me. I feel that it could have been easily been better, but it worked out for the sole reason there's so many slots given away.
Totoo.
So because even if the brackets don't work out with 2 qualifiers, almost 3 slots per qualifier being given out, it worked out.
It worked out.
But if it's if it's a more stringent qualifier if there were more lax in giving direct invites, and then you see these teams going to the open qualifiers, then there's a good chance. It's very possible na the team who's not the best team in the event can possibly sneak up second place easily in the
Right.
event.
We've seen that happen. Basta SEA people
We
are
do
saying
see that happen,
yeah.
especially in the first qualifier na sa SEA na.
Right.
People are complaining about the seeding that the upper half of the bracket is stuck.
Yes. You saw in the round of 16 na doon na nagharap yung Clutch Gamers, nagharap sila with Taskas Titans, these named teams. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the bracket, it was people were saying it was an easier path for Alpha Red to get.
Yeah, there's
through.
no disrespect, but it's definitely an easier path.
It's
I
an
don't
easier
think people
path.
are gonna contest that.
Mm-mm.
That's a problem as well. Na I know people will say na if you want to go to TI, you should be able to breeze through qualifiers anyway, and I get that. That's true.
Mm-mm.
But at the same time, you want to present the best competitive environment for these people, and playing 5 to 6 best of ones in one day it's a bit hard mentally for people,
That's true.
especially if this is the culmination of their year. Dota is unique. Our season is unique in a way na after TI it's usually a toss up.
Who knows what happens after?
It's very kasi wala naman tayo long-term contracts eh. That's the thing here na you don't see people na you're sure that they're gonna stay after this season. So it's very challenging for them. You see actually a lot of people, a lot of pros clamoring after they've been defeated. They're questioning
Ayaw na namin.
questioning their plans. They're looking for other goals. And I just hope that it would have been a better environment for them to compete, especially in that kind of, especially kasi I think there's a lot of time una for that to happen. Pangalawa, there's resources for that to happen. You don't have to have that absolutely, I don't know the correct word for the format, but it's very unforgiving na lang to say the least.
Totoo. I think for me, people sort of have this idea na dapat open qualifier eh. That means na bahala kayo kung matalo kayo agad. That open siya dapat eh. Lahat can join. Well, that's the misconception, I think, for me. And that contributes to why people can see this bracket and say na, okay lang yun. When you say open qualifier, all that means is anyone can join it.
Mhm.
That's all it means. Right? It doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a form of seeding in terms of, making sure that the bracket is fair in terms of the distribution across the entire bracket.
But that's the thing though,
Diba?
there is seeding.
No.
No,
There's
no.
seeding ngayon,
Yeah.
right? And para sa akin lang, I think the seeding could have been better.
Right? Kasi random seeding lang. Basically,
Yeah, random seeding siya. Pero yung at the second qualifier is where you could have that, that better seeding for teams that made it to at least the semifinals the first time around, the first qualifier. We didn't see that for some of them, right? That's why we have screenshots sent out. Diba? Yung Vici Gaming, Jay, was complaining that they might be paired up directly with EG, even though they made it to the quarterfinals. Right? Because then they would have to go again. And, you know, para sa akin, I think what this means lang is when we look at an open like this, the bracket should be a better fit to make sure that everyone has equal access to it already. It's an open.
Yeah.
Right? But they should also have a good weighting kung saan mo i-distribute yung mga malalakas na teams relative to everyone else. Because while sasabihin mo, open yan dapat lahat pwedeng sumali, equal chance ng lahat. It's not equal chance when all of them are in one side and the other side is an easy path for the one strong team that goes there. We saw that in SEA. We saw that a little bit in China. Everyone who was afraid to face against Serenity Gaming, the GGG stack, was over here. And then kung saan yung dinaanan ng Serenity, well, they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? That's why the GGG stack was the first one, I think, to win their qualifier. So I think it could have been better. What I think this qualifier lacked, though, in terms of results, I think the qualifier lacked in results, again, it's a lot because of the drama surrounding how this qualifier was handled this year. So, wala akong problema sa results. Navi going away is not as big of a loss para sa akin because I personally think Navi hasn't been good in years. I'm not a diehard Navi fan.
What is
anyway.
dead may never die.
Exactly, you know.
So, go on.
Diba?
Beat on a dead horse.
Yeah, we've beaten a dead horse long enough, you know. Navi is back for everyone. That's a very favorite na meme ng mga tao. I personally don't mind. You know, I like that Alpha Red is over here. And besides, we have a close qualifier pa naman to look forward to.
Yeah.
Pero we can't ignore the fact, and I'm going to segue straight into our second topic now. We can't ignore the fact that the North American qualifiers were restarted on day 1.
After a few rounds.
That's
the thing. That's the thing that's it's
Yun yung masakit.
something about restarting an event after sa umpisa pa lang na we're gonna postpone this event because of some
okay,
issues.
fine, diba?
But they did that after a few rounds.
After a few rounds na, right? As they were going to the round of 16.
Yeah. That's a long.
It happened in South America too. We had a ruling that came out because of a bug that was caused by the Underhollow patch that caused the Wild Wing Ripper tornado to occupy your entire screen. Okay, so sinabi nila, okay, while this bug is here, you can't use it around players. If you use it around players, you will be DQ'd. That was a ruling from Faceit. Hinot fixed ng Valve.
After the day.
Yeah. In China, IGV used the Wild Wing Ripper. Again, this was after the patch was hotfixed, and this Faceit isn't even handling China, but na DQ yung IGV. Of course, they rescinded that later on, but they still went for a few hours where they were DQ'd.
I don't think I think it's Valve intervening.
Yeah, exactly.
Valve
had to intervene.
Then them actually,
Na-rescind siya not by the organization handling the qualifiers, but by Valve having to...
Yeah, kasi nga, they actually added a slot because of that.
Exactly, right? It became 8.
Yeah, nagdagdag sila ng slot for China. Para lang, para hindi maging complicated masyado yung issue nila.
Exactly. So, for me, when you have these things plaguing yung open qualifier mo pa lang, I think it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to have those problems for the qualifier of the most important tournament of the year. Now, I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to say na kailangan na tanggalin yung Faceit, although a lot of people are saying that. I'm not going to say that, kailangan tanggalin yung Perfect World. I believe Perfect World is handling the one in China. I will say that we need to act better. Dota deserves better. Diba? Valve could have communicated with the tournament organizers. Guys, magpa-patch kami. Hindi nila alam. Nasira yung platform.
But is that asking too much from Valve?
Ayun, yun lang. I'm sure you have your own opinions on Valve communication. Valve and communication, name a better joke, diba? Right? So, hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam what else we could do, but I think Dota deserves better. Again, I'm not going to point fingers on any specific na organization or person because it's really a complicated system. but I'm not satisfied with how it was handled. It's unacceptable to have that for the most important event.
It's been happening for a few years now, actually. I mean, this is not, unfortunately unfortunately, this is not news. This has been happening for a few years
That's true.
with the same people organizing it. Actually, people were hopeful, not too long ago because, again, the people handling the qualifiers are a different organization.
Mm.
And the Battle Cup was announced not too long ago,
Mm.
actually a significant time ago.
Ah.
And people are expecting Valve, to actually put up a platform where the qualifiers can be played directly.
Right.
That was what people was hoping
In client.
and people were expecting, because the Battle Cup was there to start to test it out. It works, and I think it's very nice. But kaya hindi pa nila ma-implement yun?
We have to go through Faceit, we have to go
Because-
through these third-party platforms, ang hirap ng interface. I believe in day one, there were a bunch of teams that were DQ'd because on the Faceit platform, they were AFK.
Because of the patch nga.
Because of the patch.
They were stated as AFK even though they were not.
Diba? It's unacceptable. How are we in 2018 literally about to go to our 8th multi-million-dollar TI and we can't handle open qualifiers?
Well, and Open Qualifiers has been there for a few years now.
That's true. Diba?
It's not like this the first year of Open
it's
Qualifiers.
It's not, diba? So,
Uh,
it might seem like a small thing, pero para sa akin, unacceptable siya for TI. I'm fine with having qualifier drama for a minor or a
no,
major
yeah,
event,
for me kasi I think it worked out. I'm looking at the results.
Right.
Somehow worked out just because, again, the number of slots is a lot.
That's true. I mean, number of slots.
If it's not, then it's probably a bigger drama than it
It's
is.
a bigger drama than it is.
Though,
right?
I mean, because in all things considered, with just a few exceptions, parang the people you expect to advance did advance.
They did advance. That's true. I think China has the most top-weighted one. You see, the Ferrari stock waded through.
They're even there, yeah.
The Serenity, who was everyone was afraid of. Keen Gaming, that was pretty good in the DPC in the
Well, it's,
early.
yeah, it's pretty kasi talaga magulo siya in the first place
Yeah.
with only one invited team.
Yeah, IGV was there.
IGV
LFY
was
was there. I think again,
FTD, the teams that very familiar names naman
Yeah.
karamihan din sa kanila.
I think wala naman tayong makikita na qualifier with the exception of South America because South America is just chaos incarnate.
I think
It's just-
except for the three, because I think it played out perfectly for them. Na yung tatlo nila who people are expecting to advance, they all advance in the first
In the first
qualifier.
one, yeah.
They're really, a tier above everyone else there
Yeah.
for a reason naman that
for a good reason.
they're the ones
Infamous
representing their
Spain and SGD, I
Yeah,
believe, are
SG.
through,
SG
SGE,
Sports.
sorry,
SG
SGD
Sports.
is also through the
SGD.
qualifier.
But
Ah.
not the SA,
Not
but the SEA.
The SEA
qualifier.
version, yes. So, yeah, ako naman, again, looking at the results, it's fine. It's fine for me. Pero I'm not going to give a free pass just because the results were okay.
No, no one is giving a free
Diba?
pass.
I'm not
I
going-
don't.
I know, yeah.
I don't think people are giving a free pass.
They're not even
People are very vocal
people
about
people
what's
aren't
happening.
even reasonable sometimes with their take, diba? So yun na, I just hope and wish that the next time we come around, it's going to be better. I mean, the close qualifiers are happening in a few days, right?
Mhm.
I believe it's happening on the 22nd for SEA. And tama ba? 22nd for SEA. Because it
Yeah.
ends in a day. Right? It ends
Yeah, it's-
tomorrow. 2021. Yeah. So, I hope it's going to be better. I hope it's going to be better. Here are the number of teams that have qualified across the region. So, tapos na yung China, SEA, Europe, CIS, and North America kulang pa na isa. SA kulang pa ng 3. And China kulang pa ba na isa ang China?
Okay na. Naka lang. Wala silang logo.
Kakatapos lang. Oh. So, yeah, it's Youngdom. That's the Ferrari stock na nakalusot. So, quick hits tayo rin. Of the teams that are going to be joining all of these regions, sino tingin mo yung mga dark horses? Let's go with SEA first. So, in SEA, we have TNC Predator, Fnatic, TNC Tigers, Alpha Red, Entity Gaming, Battle Arena Elites, and Sterling Global Dragons.
I'm looking
Can you see a dark horse team?
at following the trend, you have to be orange para ma-challenge mo yung dalawang orange teams.
That's true.
And it's not just a meme because if you watch the first qualifier,
Mm.
we were talking about the upper bracket, which is super stacked and challenging,
Mm,
they were the team in the upper bracket and they dominated the upper bracket.
that's true.
They had a very great performance. I think that with the new additions, the new stars, not I wouldn't call them new, but this younger people combined with the veterans is giving a great synergy for the team, and I think they're gonna be a good challenge for the
That's
top two
true.
teams.
I think I will agree with you. I think I'm on TNC Tigers here for Dark Horse because for SEA I think Predator and Fnatic are just a cut above. TNC Predator
They
and
are, yeah.
Fnatic. I think medyo malayo yung power level nila. But if there are teams that can challenge that, I think it is TNC Tigers. Pero I do have an extra one. I was looking at Sterling Global Dragons game, and they might be able to surprise enough people that they might even take a game off of TNC Tigers, TNC Predator, and Fnatic. Because I was watching their games and they had very good fundamentals, sticking to the laning stage. They have that kind of a filthy draft against Taskas Titans
Mhm.
for that elimination match kagabi where they went with, what was that? Nature's Prophet, I think, and then Undying, and then Chen.
Yeah, the second game.
Yeah, second, and
Yeah.
then Tinker.
Mhm.
Kadiri yung lineup na yun. You're going to lose your lanes and then you're never going to be able to kill the Tinker. That's what's going to happen in that game. And I think that's sort of the drafting strategy that you can see from Fly Solo. So that was very exciting for me. I hope they can perform well. How about Europe? So we have OG, Wind and Rain, Blinkpool, which is the Misery Saxa stack, and Alliance, coached by Loda. And kalaban nila is going to be Final Tribe. Kalaban nila is also Kingwin, I believe, Kingdra, and Singularity Esports. So Kingdra is led by Sexy Bambo and Cancel. So Cancel used to be with Complexity. Singularity Esports naman is different na EU stack. So may mga players naman na hindi masyadong magaling but may experience naman in the qualifiers in the region. Can you see a dark horse here?
I wouldn't call qualified teams a dark horse anymore because I don't see them any significantly worse than the teams
That's true.
directly invited. I do think that OG is still
The
a very
gatekeeper.
strong team for Europe. They were the favorite to qualify TI8 Europe before,
Mm.
but I think they're still in good position. Though I think you should note that compared to Southeast Asia, that they're gonna be taking two teams.
It's only
There's
one.
only be
That's
one team
true.
for Europe, so it's gonna be a bit more challenging. There's less room for error.
That's true. I think for me, I'm very excited to see kung ano yung magiging laban between three teams. OG, Final Tribe, and Blinkpool. I think that for me is, I mean, sa Alliance, maganda rin because they have Koifa.
Mm-hmm.
And Koifa, is one of my favorite players just because he
Just because.
way back TI3 era pa mid lane Earthshaker. I just love that sort of style.
Mickey played a great morphing. I saw a clip.
Yes,
It's amazing.
Yes, I mean Koifa is really really good. Pero para sa akin siguro on a team to team basis, Final Tribe I think is the best of the invited teams. I think Kingwin people have seen go to events but I don't think they're
Yeah, but
They
Kingwin
have,
kasi
ano.
they qualified through the earlier part, so I
Exactly.
think they're much less relevant now. Final Tribe has been there. Actually, mga previous mga latter minors natin
Exactly.
they've been playing. So
So I think Final Tribe for me is the best out of the invited teams.
mhm.
And then I'm excited to see them pair against OG and Blinkpool. Alliance, I'm still not as convinced, although Koifa is a favorite of mine. We're waiting on North America and South America, so we'll go na lang muna to China. Okay, so for China, Invictus Gaming is the only invited team. So the other is Team Serenity, Keen Gaming, CDEC, IG Vitality, For the Dream, which is a new stack, and LFY and Young Dumb, which is the Ferrari 430 na stack. So, can you see a dark horse here?
I think Keen and Serenity are two teams I
Yeah.
expect fighting out, but there's a lot. There's two slots in China, I believe.
Yes, there's two slots for China. I think there's a lot less pressure.
There
For
is a
them?
lot. Yeah, I think those two teams should be able to get it if there's a contender. Aside from those two, yep. the thing with there's a lot of teams there with names that we've seen excel in TI.
That's true. I mean,
So-
430 is back somehow
So,
in the
yeah.
qualifier. So
I mean, LGD, LFY's roster, there's veterans there.
yeah,
Even with IGV actually, IGV was there last year as
pinalitan nila
well.
dalawa yung pinalitan nila. So Miracle is playing position 1, Half is a new player playing position 2. Ako, again, because China is getting 2, again, I still don't believe that they should be getting 2, but they're
Yeah,
getting
I
2.
don't think they should. No, that's arguable actually.
It's arguable. I would have
You would
preferred
prefer-
Europe or CIS.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, too.
it's.
Yeah.
I think CIS should have had more, but I
Yeah.
think it's 2 for China is not the worst thing.
It's not the worst.
It's very arguable.
Yeah.
You can have some good arguments for them
That's true.
getting 2.
Pero for me, I think I would like to see, storyline-wise, I would like IGV to get through. Because
Mhm.
I would like to see Miracle play in a Valve event
On a world stage.
on a world stage. I think Miracle has... he tried it his own way. You know, he tried to make his SG team that for the longest time. And then finally, he tried to get out of his comfort zone. Playing in IG Vitality is, I think, the weirdest for him. So I think that's my pick.
It's not the
for
first time in China though, right?
It's not,
He's
it's
played
not.
with I think Rattlesnake and
Yeah, pero this time it's ano talaga eh. Talagang the focus for the boot camping is a lot more focused now
yeah.
for him.
Before he was struggling with NS duties then.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But this time he can go full out. Pero I really want to see how much Team Serenity can put on the table. I saw their games over the weekend and they are scary.
yeah, and Keen of course was
Yeah.
was qualifying outside the
Yeah.
4 Chinese teams. They were qualifying into events.
Mm.
They actually placed a second in a minor event.
Yes.
So they also accumulated experience. They do know how to play.
So last natin is going to be CIS. So the invited teams are only Vega Squadron and Fly to Moon. Meanwhile, the qualified teams are a bunch of familiar names actually. Team
I think
Empire,
It looks like a super
Team Spirit,
difficult qualifier. When you look at it.
Gambit, and we have other stacks, 20-minute AFK less, Espada, and Double.
I love that team
Dimension.
name.
I know.
It's so random. I can't remember it though, but
This is a very hard qualifier.
it's a very hard qualifier, and there's other teams there who missed the cut even.
I mean,
That's why
Navi is the big one.
we were
right?
talking about how NA and CIS are gonna be hard. I was
Yeah.
pushing how CIS is gonna be a hard
Yeah.
qualifier.
Oh, it's
So if that's see mo kung 2 stats lang meron sa open qualifiers that or 3 slots, it's gonna be
really hard. So my interesting names, of course, Team Spirit is basically old VP, Illidan G, DK Phobos. They have FNG and
Yeah, this team has been-
Beaver.
I think Spirit out of this qualifier teams has been together the longest.
Yes, they have.
I think they just barely missed the roster lock period. I think they changed roster very
Right,
soon
right,
after the roster lock.
So Neiko has a stack at 20-minute AFK less, and he's
Mhm.
supported by some good talent, but not world stage caliber talents just yet. Yoki has a stack with Gambit, big surprise. Team Empire have Miposhka, FN Ghostic, and they're coached by Arzik. But they're going to go up against Fly to Moon.
Yeah.
And Vega Squadron, who's been coached by Kips.
I think that the 2 invited teams are very strong.
The 2 invited teams are very strong.
Especially
That's true.
they're not just very strong towards the umpisa, but they're strong
Yeah.
towards the end of the season. which is-
Especially in the qualifiers, because they've been playing
Mhm.
gatekeepers against him. Now, they haven't succeeded where the minors and the majors are concerned, but these are the 2 teams that nakita na, well, Flight
I
to
think
Moon
FTM
siguro,
is arguable.
Yeah,
I think they
yeah.
played very well in that event they played.
Yeah, pero Vega Squadron is the one gatekeeper, I think, right?
Mhm.
Without the presence of VP, Vega Squadron had the most attendances to events out of all of these teams. That's really interesting to me. I don't know who to pick. Team Spirit, obviously, I think yung isa sa matunog, but I would like I think Fly to Moon for me.
I
Fly
think
to Moon
I
is-
think they're a favorite now.
yeah. I think
But
Fly to
again,
Moon is a
CIS
favorite.
is also only has 1 slot, so
That's true.
that's super challenging with the kind of teams there. Looks like sort of
Mm.
I think especially with the CIS region, they're a region similar to Southeast Asia before, na they sort of beat each other
Yeah.
in that sense. Na it's a bit harder to predict who's gonna win in that region.
Well, titignan natin ngayon. So, any final thoughts with our qualifiers? So,
Oh yeah, for the qualifiers, I just hope they release the format.
Yes, definitely. I haven't seen
It's
that.
coming soon, and
It's
they still
coming
have no
soon. It's just a
format.
few days. Wala
Isn't
pa
it-
format. How are
isn't
they
it-
going to get teams from regions that have more than one slot?
I just hope that the format for the qualifier is
Makes
gonna be
sense.
satisfying.
That's true.
Of course, kung kanina, if you have problems with open qualifiers, this is an even bigger event.
That's true.
This kasi spells, I think how much money they give to last place and last TI. It's a
Yeah.
significant, still a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
And exposure. So it goes both ways. A lot is at stake. So we hope that whoever are the best teams in the region, that they do get to advance. Na hindi siya, it's not a matter of draw. It's not a matter of brackets. It's actually the best team.
And that's
moving
that's very important. That's why we talk about brackets here a lot. We don't want there to be an asterisk whenever a team qualifies, because you can make sometimes that's very results oriented thinking. This team won, they must clearly be the best or the
Mhm.
most qualified. But no, that's not necessarily the case, especially in a qualifier where you're getting extra teams. Now, if wala kayong format na maganda for a single qualifier, then maybe the answer is to have multiple qualifiers to get those 3 slots. Pero we've never seen that before. Remember in SEA when we used to get dalawa, we would have the first winner would go through, and then we would have a sort of lower bracket to get through. That's not necessarily a good sign all the time, but I hope there's more information to come out.
Do I think
I just wish that all of the problems that we've experienced in the open qualifiers will not happen again for the close qualifiers. I don't want there to be an issue of an unpause for South America again. We've seen that ngayon. May nagkaroon ng unpause, a team won. That's unacceptable.
do I think the unpause thing is probably not gonna happen here because
Yeah.
it's gonna be covered thoroughly, unlike before.
That's true, pero ang isang naging issue kasi dun, for people who did not know, there was a team that won after unpausing because everyone disconnected.
And they pushed after.
Then they pushed it. There was no pause. Sabi nila, well, it's in the rules naman. Well, sometimes it's not just about the rules.
Yeah.
Ngayon, you could have easily avoided that because it was a round of 16 fight. Right? You could have easily avoided that by having lobby admins. They did not have lobby admins. And for the close qualifiers, I hope we will never go to that. I want manually hosted lobbies.
I think for sure.
For sure, right? Manually hosted lobbies.
I hope you're not wrong with
I
me
hope
for
we're
sure.
not, diba?
But
Kaya nga.
I would assume that we won't have.
Yeah, I don't want to assume. I want there to be absolute, because I know Face It. Face It is a very small company. They have a lot of volunteers. They don't have a lot of man.
Well, as most esports companies.
As most companies are. They don't have actual manpower, right? As much as Mikey is amazing, Drop Bear is just model volunteer number 1. They still run on that platform. So ayoko magkakaroon ng ganung problema. Ayoko magkakaroon ng problema ng bracket. Ayoko magkakaroon ng lahat. I want the best teams the best playing teams, not just the best teams. I don't care if EG plays like shit. I want them eliminated. But I want this to not have an asterisk. I want TI to really be about the best. That's all I ask for.
I think if I heard something correct, I think I saw something that's gonna be some sort of group stage round robin. So I think that's very good.
I think that's good. I think we have enough time. We definitely have enough time. Where there's nothing happening in
And there's
July.
nothing to rush as well, yeah.
There's nothing. Walang rush. If they need 2 weeks to play out these qualifiers, I don't mind.
Mas madali mag-apply ng visa sa Canada.
Yes, that's exactly.
That's
exactly
another big thing to consider here.
All right. So are you excited? Which one are
I
you
am
going
excited.
to be looking at?
Medyo iba time zone ko noon, so I guess I'm gonna be following the NA qualifiers.
Oh, yeah. Because I know that you're going to be. So si Ren is going to be absent for a month.
No, for 2 weeks,
for
man.
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks,
For 2
yeah.
weeks, yeah.
I wish.
I wish.
I wish I would have been out for a month.
Binubuo ko na ba? Pero, so Ren you're flying out to North America, so you'll be following that.
I'll try to drop by the BTS. No,
You can.
no, I'll arrive there after the
Yeah.
qualifiers, so it's too late.
I think for me it's going to be SEA for sure, but CIS definitely, and maybe China. CIS and China. Again, NA sort of loses its excitement once you know that there's 3 slots. So Siguro if the final slot is going to be about Optic and EG, I am definitely watching that. Because I really want to see who wins, Sumail or PPD. But other than that, I think I'm going to stick with SEA and CIS. Alright, so that's...
Time zone ng CIS is tricky though for you.
It's very tricky for me. It's very hard. It's what, 2 a.m. or something? Yeah.
Probably worse.
Probably
2
even
a.m.
worse. So that's it for the duel. Again, armistice muna kami. If you think you have what it takes to be the next host ng the duel and makapag-away nyo kami dalawa.
Yeah, it would be great when I come back and you're here.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
can have an episode
Titignan
here with
natin. We will be back for a new season of the duel in about 2 weeks.
It's about full blast TI.
Yes,
stuff
it's going to
now.
be for TI. We have a lot of things planned out para sa inyo, so please join us then. We want to thank, of course, kayong viewers namin and ang Lupon ng Wombo Combo. If you're not a part of it yet, facebook.com/Lupon ng WXC, and of course, you can find us everywhere else, dito sa Twitch and on YouTube. Salamat sa inyo. We'll see you guys next time we see you
Cheers.
for Season 2.
Thank you.
Bye-bye!
Bye.